Good morning, dear students. So, in the last session, we have discussed what are the functional structure of organization and divisional structure of organization. So, in the today's class, let us go for the types of organization, that are formal organization and informal organization. Formal and informal organization. Formal and informal organization. So when it comes to formal organization, it is nothing but top management is going to deliberately create one particular organization structure where it is going to describe, it is going to define the activities done which have to be performed by each and every employee. It is just like giving clarity about the activities to be performed, whether making departments or whether making the chain of authority. Whereas informal organization, it is not going to deliberately or purposely created by the management. It is just as an interaction at workplace. People used to interact with each other as a social development, a social relationship. So one organization is going, one organizational structure is going to create, and that is called as informal organization. So in today's class, let us go through in detail what is that a formal organization, features, and its merits and demerits. So obviously, when it comes to a formal organization, whatever in the last classes we have discussed now, whether that is divisional structure or functional structure. So those are the best examples for formal organization. Okay, so formal organization is nothing but in which creating particular responsibilities, or we are going to allocate the authority and responsibility. We are going to define the jobs to be performed. We are going to try to utilize the available resources up to the maximum possible advantage. Okay, that is what a formal organization. So each individual is aware in this particular formal organization. Each individual is aware of what he has to perform, or to whom he has to responsible, to whom he has to answerable, and on whom he has the authority. So he has very clear awareness regarding the activities to be performed and the people to be approached. Okay, that is about the formal organization. So just let me go through the features. Discuss some features of formal organization. So, as I told, formal organization is a system of well-defined jobs and defining the measure of authority and responsibility of each individual. So, just let me go through what are the characteristics of a formal organization. The very first thing is well-defined jobs. Well-defined jobs. Well-defined jobs in the sense, so in this particular type of organization, each and every individual is aware of what he has to perform. Okay, what is his authority and what is his responsibility regarding these aspects. Each and every individual is very clear. Okay, when every employee is clear about what is his duties to be performed, so definitely he can do the job in a best possible manner. Okay, so that is what the very first one of the feature of a formal organization. Well defined jobs. Jobs are specifically well defined. Then it is deliberately created function. Deliberately created. Obviously, formal organization is deliberately created. So deliberately created, the meaning of deliberate means purposefully. It is created on purpose. Okay, so with the purpose of achieving the organizational goals, management, it has created this structure. It has given a particular shape. Okay, so where it has systematically going to allocate the resources and the works to be performed. Okay, so where we are going to divide the work and we are going to try to create the integrity. We are trying to bring coordination among the employees. Whenever more than two people are going to work, so you're supposed to get the activities into coordinated. So this particular formal organization is deliberately created. Deliberately created is nothing but it is created with a purpose. It is not happened with, it is not an accident. Okay, it is a purposeful activity. Okay, it doesn't happen by chance. It happened by choice. Okay, that is what a formal organization is. So we can call it is a deliberately created organization. Then it is job performance oriented. It is performance oriented. Performance oriented. Okay, so works officially the work supposed to be done. It is job oriented. Okay, job performance oriented rather than social relations. Here we are not going to give more emphasis or more importance on social relationships. We are going to focus this formal organization, especially it is going to focus on those activities which are performance oriented, which are job oriented, rather than social approach. We are going to approach the work approach. It is work oriented or job performance oriented type of organization. Then the other one, that is formal channel of communication is followed. Formal channel of communication. Formal channel of communication is followed. Okay. In case of a formal organization, so we are going to follow the formal channel of communication. Formal channel of communication in the sense, in case of scalar chain, we have seen in case of scalar chain, if suppose A is the boss, and some number of subordinates like B, C, D, E are there, and again on the other hand, F, G, H, I are there. So in such cases, if A want to inform something to Mr. E, you are not allowed to directly inform him. You need to pass the message to B, B will tell to C, C will tell to D, and finally D is going to communicate to E. So anything supposed to be conveyed to an individual or an employee that followed, that communication flows through this chain of communication. Okay, that is what a channel of communication is followed. Formal channel is followed. Suppose he wanted to tell or he want to convey something to Mr. I. Again, this is also supposed to go in the flow. It is supposed to reach us today, and then it has to move in the channel, proper channel of communication. Okay, so formal channel of communication is followed in case of a formal organization. Then the other feature is coordinated efforts. Coordinated efforts. Obviously, formal organization is nothing but creating such a situation, creating such an organization where just by defining the activities to be performed, just by delegating the authority and responsibility, so we are going to coordinate the activities. We are going to integrate the activities towards the successful attainment of a organizational goal. Okay, the main intention of any formal organization is to reach the organizational goal in an effective manner, in an efficient and effective manner. Efficient is nothing but with least possible advantage, with the maximum possible advantage, with the least expenses and the cost. That is about some of the features of formal organization. Coming to the advantages and disadvantages, let me go through some of the Advantages. Advantages of a formal organization structure. Sorry, formal organization. So when it comes to the advantages, very first thing is it is easy to fix the responsibility. It is easy to fix a responsibility. Obviously, in case of formal organization, because of the reason we know who is responsible for what activities, we know who is answerable for the particular accomplishment and non-accomplishment of activities. So we can make a particular individual, a particular employee, we can make a particular employee responsible for accomplishment and non-accomplishment of activities. If suppose organization is doing well, then also we can find because of whom, because of which person we got that success. At the same time, if activities are not going to happen as planned, is not going, we are not going to get a actual result as it was planned. In such cases also, we can make a person responsible for the accomplishment and non-accomplishment of activities. Then second thing is clarity of duties. Clarity of duties will be. Obviously, in case of formal organization, that clarity will be. So clarity in the sense, because in the formal organization, we are going to delegate the authority. So that's about the clarity of duties. There will be clarity regarding the activities to be performed. There will be clarity regarding to whom you are answerable and on whom you have authority. So that is what the clarity of duties. Then the other benefit is unity of command. Unity of command is followed. In case of formal organization, so we are going to follow unity of command, where each individual must, or every employee must receive from one boss. Okay, there should not be a situation where one employee is going to get orders from two or more authorities. So that is what every individual, each employee must receive order from one boss. Then it helpful in achieving the organization goals. It helps in achieving goals. So, formal organization is going to help to achieve the organizational goals, obviously, because when the activities are allocated in a proper manner, when the resources are allocated in a proper manner, so obviously you can get the work done in a better manner. So as a result of it, so it is going to help us to achieve the organizational goals also. Then going to the disadvantages. So when there are some advantages, obviously the same manner there are some disadvantages also. Just let me go through. The very first thing is delay in decision making. Delay in decision making. So I told you already, we have discussed. So we are following that chain of communication. Something supposed to be flow, that must flow in the order. So A has to give an order. That order must follow in this particular formal way. So A has to tell to B, B is going to come on. Again, communication flows in this manner. So this results in delaying actions. Actions are going to be get delayed, and even the decisions are going to be get delayed because of the reason that we are going to follow this formal chain of communication. Okay, so scalar chain we are going to follow. No? As a result of it, the results are going to get delayed. The activities are going to get delayed. Even the decisions are going to be getting delayed. That is what one of the demerit. Then the other one is lack of initiative. Lack of initiative. Lack of initiative. One more demerit of formal organization is creativity is going to get reduced. Creativity is going to get reduced because in case of formal organization, we are supposed to follow the rigid policies. Okay, so we are not allowed to go for the making any deviations because deviations does not allow in case of formal organization. So as a result of it, if somebody having better idea, then also he won't go through that idea. He never take the risk of keeping his idea in front of higher authorities. That leads to lack of initiativeness. That is one of the demerit. And the other demerit is ignorance of human element. Ignorance of human element is nothing but, in case of common organization, as I told, it is performance oriented rather than social needs. So there is no importance, there is no scope for social needs. So it is going to focus, it is going to emphasis on performance rather than social needs. So you can't have, it is not going to focus on creating better social relationship. Okay, so that is what one of the demerit. If we are going to ignore, formal organization is going to ignore the human element. Okay, that is about some of the demerits of formal organization. Okay, that's about the features, advantages and disadvantages of formal organization. So in the next class, we will discuss what is that the informal organization is. Okay, so till then, stay at home, keep learning.